Hide not your talents, they for use were made. What is a sundial in the shade? Benjamin Franklin. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Commoners Honing All Disciplines podcast. Today, we're going to discuss careerism. What do you do to pick your career? What if you're a young guy and you're just starting out? Maybe you're still in school, but you want to figure out what you're going to do, and you don't know. This will be valuable to you because we will tell you what you should be thinking about.
Yeah, I think one big mistake a lot of people think about in their careers is they think purely about money rather than about lifestyle. So the way I break it down is like this. I think we spoke about this in other episodes, but basically that like a third rule. 1/3 of the day you are doing your career, right? It's a good chunk. It should be reasonable. It should be decent. For the average person, you're going to be working about 8 hours a day. So you don't want those 8 hours to be grueling, like too grueling. Number one, you don't want to kill yourself every single day after you're done work, because then you're probably not going to last long in that career or in that job. I'll say job. Number two is, are you going to be able to have that balance in life that you want? Do you want a lifestyle that's go, high paced, lots of money, fast lifestyle? That's okay. Like whatever, that could be your prerogative. The average person probably doesn't want that. The average person wants to work a reasonable and respectable career. They want to work their 8 hours a day. They want to make I guess in Canada, you'd be making 80K plus. You'd want to be making at least. And you want to be able to go home to your family at the end of the day, right? You don't want your commute to kill you. And that's it, right? It seems very simple. But what if you plan on staying single for a long time? What if you want to work hard early in life and just grind stuff out and not worry about a family? What if you only want to worry about a family, so you want an even easier job that doesn't pay as much, but is maybe more difficult in a shorter period of time? There's a lot of ways you have to look at it, and the way I look at it is like, figure out what lifestyle you want. And sometimes that is out of your grasp because you can't know what it's like to be married. You can't know what it's like to be kids without having them. And you also can't know what a fast-paced lifestyle is like unless you create one for yourself. So kind of like, you're in high school, you're in college, whatever, you're in university, create the type of lifestyle you would want to have and say, I actually do enjoy this. I would want to continue this in my career. I want to continue this in my job.
Because you can always change later, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can always change later.
Some people think that they have to do the exact same thing all the time, or like the first thing that they choose has to be their last thing that they choose. But it's not.
It's not at all. It's like there's two things I would say. You have time and you have options, right? Like you really don't want to, undermine those options. You don't want to say that there's nothing for you if you choose one career path. It's like you can always choose a career path that you didn't really like as much, make money in it, and then move forward onto something else, right? Like you have that ability. It's not even uncommon for people to do anymore, right? It's like it's actually, I would say it's pretty common. I think the average person has like 12 different jobs in their lifetime now at this point in time. And like it never used to be like that before. Before it used to be 2 to 3 jobs on average per person. Yeah, now it's a hell of a lot more, right? People are doing a lot of different things. They're doing maintenance jobs, right? So they're saying, I just need money right now in order to get to the next step in life. So I'll see what I can do to get that. So that's why when I say career, this is going to be your overarching pathway forward. So, that lifestyle awareness has to be part of that list, right?
Because a career could be made up of multiple different jobs, maybe in the same sector or in different sectors even. Kind of like encompasses what you want to be doing, and then like you said, it all goes back to what lifestyle you end up with at the end of it. Like if you want a specific lifestyle, you have to consider the job that it takes to get there, or the business maybe that you have to create to get there,
Yeah.
and think about what you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis, because that's really what a job is, the day-to-day,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. The number one
grind.
thing I think you can do if you're in high school or in university is reach out to people who have the career that you are looking to get into. Reach out to them. LinkedIn, as much as people rag on it, whatever, it's a
Mm.
great opportunity for you to create an account and be like, hey, I'm looking to get into this field. I'm thinking about going to school for this. I don't really have anyone to talk to about this. I was wondering if you could help me out, right? Local businessmen, local companies, they're a lot of their execs and lower management are happy to reach out. Construction industry. Again, this is more of a corporate side, but like, let's say it was more of an artistic field, like reach out to art galleries and talk to them, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to get creative. I think one thing is getting creative with trying to figure out what you'd want and what you don't want. Because I met a lot of people in high school that were like, yeah, I know I want to be a lawyer. I know I want to be a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can know what you want, and that's good. Actually, you should have a direction, and you should focus on it fully. You shouldn't. The one thing also with career is don't worry if it doesn't work out, kind of thing. Because at the end of
Yeah,
the day, there's always opportunities to make money. There is, but there's not always
always.
opportunities for you to pursue a path that you would want to pursue. There really isn't. So you
Hmm.
have to look at that. You have to take that into account. Your opportunities are
Yeah,
only
they will
limited by
decrease over
your.
time. You're
They
right.
will decrease over time, right? So you should try your riskiest opportunities, arguably in your youngest age,
Yeah, I would
where you're
agree.
able to bounce
That's
back. You have more time to bounce back from it, right? Your riskiest endeavors, your silliest, goofiest ideas. If you say, "Oh, I love day trading. I want to do day trading," like start
yeah,
small. Start small. If you say, "I love woodworking. I want to do woodworking," get your apprenticeship and build your own shop slowly but surely, right? Work for someone else. Do not. And I will say this: in today's society, there's going to be a lot of niche things that people are going to be wanting because there's so much of us. Like
hmm,
everyone wants a little niche thing. Different people want niche things. So don't be afraid to do your niche thing if there's potential money in it, right? So like, don't
yeah.
be afraid of entrepreneurship. If opportunity doesn't knock, you have to build a door. This is a paraphrasing from Milton Berle.
Hmm. I mean, it's true that like what you said, where if you want to get into a field or something, but maybe you don't know anybody, just go asking people. That's huge. Like that is probably like one of the biggest keys to actually being successful with getting jobs. And it's 100% true that opportunities only come to you if you are actively like seeking them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because the guy that just sits in his room all day, why is someone going to come up to him and say, "Hey, do you want this job?" It just doesn't make any sense. It's like they're going to be given to people that are actually out there in the world doing something,
Yeah,
whatever that is. And yeah, you can showing that initiative shows people in that field that like, hey, this guy is interested. He's ready to learn. He wants to know what we have to teach, which is a big thing when it comes to mentorship. Like how
yeah,
dedicated you're going to be to your mentor, because no one wants to give away their knowledge for and get nothing, absolutely nothing in return. They want
yeah,
the satisfaction of doing that. People do want to do that, but
yeah,
they don't want to do it to someone who's going to be ungrateful or someone who's not actually going to take it seriously.
yeah. Or have learned anything from it, right? Like that's what the mentorship is all about. Eventually, being like, I can teach someone now, so they don't make the same
Mm-hmm.
mistakes I do, and hopefully they can grow at a better rate or in their own way, better than I ever could. So that's a very big deal. People like doing that when they get older. It's like one of the most important things people do when they get older.
It's a lot like
And
being a parent, really.
yeah, it is. It is. It's like the next. It's like the next step down from being a parent. And I think with mentorship also comes like you have to think about like they got there in whatever circumstances that they did. Just circling back to what you were saying before, like the person who sits around and does nothing, even though they're qualified, will not get a job. The
Mm-hmm.
person who's unqualified and more ambitious than you will.
Yeah.
That's literally all you need to know. If you're saying, "Oh, I can't find a job, I can't find a job," yeah, the reality is you're not doing enough. And I know it's a really annoying thing to say, It is really annoying because nowadays like jobs are dependent on maybe following certain political standards or certain political
True.
beliefs. That's fair, right? But it doesn't mean you should give up. And it doesn't mean you can't go down your own path. Arguably, if people are saying you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, do your own thing. Like early and often, and be like,
Mm-hmm.
screw you. You told me I couldn't do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be forging my own path, right? I'm going to be choosing my own career. I'm going to be making my own destiny. So, like, that's one of the biggest things. Don't be afraid to take a risk right now. Now is the time to take risk. Now is the time to like get into debt in a weird way.
Mm.
Um, you know,
It's so true. And the other thing, like, I know it's a bit cliche, like, but I have to repeat it because it's true. It's basically the best investment you can make is in yourself, in your own um, skills and education. Uh, Basically, if there's any kind of course that you know you could take that would make you able to make more money, always do it. It's always worth it, even if it's not for money. If it's some kind of like interest for you, like something creative or anything like that, if you take that course and you become a better person because of it, it's always worth it, in my opinion. And I think um, many people agree. Basically, you ask how to pick a career. Like, so for a young guy, we came up with 3 questions that you need to like find an answer to. When you do your journaling and your
these
self
are good.
work
These
that
are
we
really good
talk about.
questions, actually. Just simple. The simplest questions are the best. I'm going to put that forward right now. The simplest
Mm-hmm.
questions have the most complex answers.
In a weird way, so true. So basically, the first one, what do you like? Okay, easy to answer for some people, hard to answer for others.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to figure it out. What do you actually like? And like I said before, a job or a lifestyle is what you do on a day to day basis. So if you're not enjoying the day to day, then you're not going to make it. You can't just enjoy your life only a couple weeks a year when you're on vacation. You have to enjoy it consistently throughout the year. Otherwise, you're going to be very unhappy.
Yeah, and it's not going to be perfect, right? There's no job or there's no career that's like this is perfection. This is
No.
exactly what I want in my career. It's like the way I think of it is the majority of the time you're working on your job, you're enjoying it or tolerating it at the very minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So about 60 to 75% of the time, you're actually enjoying it or tolerating it. Maybe the other 25% of the time you dislike it, right? Maybe even
Yeah.
less, maybe 20%. You could go up to 80. It depends on your tolerance levels, and it's like if it's enjoyment versus intolerance. Like you might have a job that's like the parts that you like so much, and the parts that you don't like, they suck a lot. But like those parts that you like outweigh it so much. Like I can imagine like that's how it goes for doctors. That's how it
Mm-hmm.
goes for lawyers, right? There's a lot of slogging. There's a lot of like pain in the beginning, and then they like can enjoy it even more as their career like goes forward, right? I would assume it's the same for like construction
Yeah,
guys as well, right?
and
You
you'll
work
be
hard and
rewarded for self-sacrifice. Most jobs or careers kind of have that sense. Like I know it's in the trades a lot
Mhm.
that you work harder as you're younger, and then when you're older in the same trade in the same job, you're more respected now for your knowledge rather than your physical effort, and you can kind of sit back and relax.
Yeah, your
And
experience speaks
yeah.
for you. It speaks through you as well, right? It's like I can get things done in 8 hours, even though I'm an old man, because I know exactly how they should be done and I know the most efficient way. Whereas a new
Mm-hmm.
guy might take 2 days, but he's faster. He can move better than me, but he doesn't know what I know. He doesn't feel what I feel. He hasn't done the specific intricacies that I've experienced, right? So you know, as a young man, learn fast from people older than you.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to people who are older than you, reach out to people who are smarter than you. Like, do not be afraid. Because at the end of the day, the way I think about it is like this: if you can learn from someone smarter and older and wiser than you at a young age, imagine how much smarter, older, and wiser you will be than them at their age.
Mm-hmm.
and always go from there. Like that's the way I look at it. And then there is a point where it's like,
Something to
I'm so
think about.
smart, I could do this. Yeah, don't forget you haven't put in the time and effort they have. So take the experience, take the wisdom, take the knowledge, but humble yourself and be like, I want to learn in order to get to their level at some point someday, right?
Yeah,
Um,
that's one thing I've noticed. Like, if you take just your attitude and willingness to work and just take an interest in um, an older guy, like speaking specifically about the trades, but this can apply to any job that you're in. Someone who's been there longer than you and knows certain things like tricks, just pay attention and like show interest to them. They will like you 100 times more than some guy who's just going through the motions. I promise. And
oh yeah,
it's something I do all the time. Like, I actually ask questions, even if I even if I might know the answer. I ask questions that I think the guy would like to hear and explain to me, just so
hmm
that he wants to explain things to me more often than not, right? There's nothing worse if they just let you um, go about your job and screw up, even though they know that there's a better way of doing it. You want to be receiving that knowledge before you make any mistakes.
yeah. You don't want to be the new guy who thinks he knows everything, and people really don't like that. They don't respect that. They prefer if you're the new guy who's trying their best, and then maybe makes mistakes once in a while, but learns from them. Right? Doesn't make the same mistake twice. That's always something I like to make a point of. I do not like making the same mistake twice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it happens. It does happen.
It does happen, but yeah, I mean everyone's gonna have an off day, but like you can think about it in the just to go back to what you said before. I was just thinking about this. You said you might enjoy 60-70% of your job, and then maybe the rest you're kind of tolerating it, or you really don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were just sat at home without a job all day, you would either
Yeah.
feel worse, or you wouldn't be enjoying yourself 100% of the time.
No.
So really, you probably will never get to a point where you enjoy yourself 100% of the time.
And you shouldn't, because that's just
No, I
boredom.
don't think you should either.
It's like addiction, right? If something's so good all the time, when it's not good, it's going to be horrible. So you need those ups and downs. You need that balance, right? You need
Definitely.
that. Again, it's skewed more in a positive direction, right? Even if it's like you don't like your job 40% of the time, but like you make a lot of money, that balances out, right? It's all this. It's always about
Mm-hmm.
balance at the end of the day. It's always about like what you're leaving home from and what you're coming home to, right? That's what career ends up being, right? And it's nice. It's nice to be in a field where um, you can enjoy the people that you're talking to. There's kind of somewhat similar to you. You can get along, and work isn't just this horrible thing that you all do. It's this decent thing that you all do together and put in good work
Mm-hmm.
to get it done. But I feel like we're going off path here. To pick a
Yeah,
career,
we started with the questions.
yeah, to pick a
We only
career,
did the first one. So the first question is you have to figure out what you like.
yes. So
That's the main.
this takes time, and you may not know 100%. You may like a lot of things. I'll give you this advice: if you like a lot of things, find what you're good at of those things that you like, and go right after it. Um,
Yeah,
find the best thing you're good at, and what you may be if you're good at a lot of little things, what you may be good at is managing, because then you'll be like,
true.
oh, I'm good at all these little things. I can put them all together. I can put these moving parts together. I should do a management position, right? I should look at, being a restaurant manager or something. I don't know,
Mm.
but
That's the
putting,
second question, by the way, is what are you good at? The
yeah, it's
second
true.
thing
Sorry,
you need to
let me hold
figure
off
out.
for a second. So, what do you like? Again, that's up to you to know. But yeah, two pieces of advice here is it's up to you to know. And the second piece of advice is that means it's not up to someone else to know for you. A
Yeah.
lot of young people need to get this through their heads, okay? What you enjoy is not what your parents want for you. What you enjoy, what you like, is not what your friends want for you. What you enjoy and what you like is not what society wants for you. It simply is yours. It is yours. It is not to be taken away or given value more than one other thing or someone else's thing. Yes, there's certain things that you can enjoy and be like, I know this is bad. I probably shouldn't enjoy this. And that's normal. That's very human. Obviously, don't go down those paths. But like the paths that you do enjoy, people can know and understand what I'm alluding to. But the paths that you do enjoy, follow them, chase them. You love athletics. You love athletics so much, and you love the mind. Okay, sports psychology. Boom, that's what I'm going to go into, right? Maybe you're not smart enough to understand the human brain. That's fine. You can still do physiotherapy and I don't know, life coaching and stuff. Or sorry, not life coaching. You can do like bodybuilding coaching, right? Because you love athletics and you love the mind. So now you can do both those things, right? There's all these different fields where you can like two things and still be good at both of them in their own way, right? If you enjoy building, like just building things in general, you like building Legos as a kid. Maybe you're interested in woodworking or steel working. Imagine building massive Legos with a crane. It's like every person has probably pictured themselves in a crane at some point, like moving the arms and stuff. Like when you're a kid,
at that claw
the
game
claw,
machine.
yeah,
You're
the
just
claw.
trying to win a stuffed animal, and you're just like,
yeah, like
be the crane. What's that from? Be the crane.
be the claw. Is that Toy
Yeah,
Story? I think it's Toy
I
Story.
think so. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So second thing you have to figure out, what are you good at? This similarly to finding what you like, it involves trying many things
Mm-hmm.
and not just sitting on your ass. You actually have to go out and figure out what you're good at. Maybe you're athletic, maybe you're a builder, maybe you're intellectual,
Mm-hmm.
creative,
You're good at writing, you're good at art or music.
whatever you are, right?
Yeah.
That's going to help with enjoyment. You might not enjoy the things that you're good at, but usually if you're good at something, it's enjoyable.
It's more enjoyable, yeah, than being. If you're bad at something but you like it, you like chances are you're still gonna enjoy something that you're good at that you don't like as much. That's just the way the human mind works because you can see results out of that. So yeah, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like. That may be a good strategy as well. I had to figure out what I didn't like in order to get into what I did like, and it takes time, right? It takes time, and some people don't have the luxury of that. So what you need to do is kind of figure that out for yourself. Is I need to figure out what I like, but I don't know yet. So let me do a job that's tolerable for now until I figure it out, and I'll make a plan, right? It's not this rushed thing. If you're going to be 80 years old, you can spend 20 to 30 years of that early life figuring out what you want to do for the other 50. That's okay, right? It's not a big deal. As long as you're working towards something, you're saying, I know I need money regardless. So I'm going to work towards that for now, right? A tolerable money-making job. Obviously, the next question, as we discussed, is what are you good at? What can you do well? And that's, again, this is that you may find without trying to look for, which is interesting.
Yeah, some people just have talent.
Yeah, some people just have genuine talent. And preventing it from going to waste is going to be a big thing. If you're good at something, but you're like, I can't do this as a career, that's our next question, right? That'll be our next question, and you'll understand what we say when we say it. But finding what you're good at is very important. It's finding some sort of mastery in a craft, or what's your highest ability to learn? Like, are you visual? Are you tactile? Or are you audible? Whatever.
Yeah,
can you hear? Can you learn by hearing? Yeah, auditory. Can you learn by seeing, which is visual? And can you learn by doing, right? Those three things are going to really help.
It's the podcast, so.
Well, they may not be fully auditory.
No, I know.
A portion will be, I would hope. But yeah, like figure out how well you learn, right? Knowing yourself can help you determine what you're good at and what you can be good at. So I'm a fast.
When I did those tests in school, I got like exactly thirds for the 3 learning types.
Mm-hmm. So you're just a well-rounded individual. So you can choose which one you want to go down the path of, and that makes sense for like what I would look at is that like maybe music production, right, is a creative form, or podcast production where you're doing physical things, You're doing
Mm-hmm.
visual things, and you're doing auditory items, right? Learning and discussing them, or like I said, music production. You could talk about like some construction industries where it's like you need to see, feel, and discuss with clients, or listen, like communicate well. Sorry, communication is the auditory
Mm-hmm.
reason for things. But like if you're purely visual, you might do a job that's artistic based, right? You might do a job that's like, oh no, this needs to be this way. Like I said, you can be a manager, right? If you're purely auditory, maybe you're like to listen and read and write. Maybe you become like a therapist or something because you love to listen, or a teacher of some kind because you love to listen and teach. There's all these different fields, and tactile, obviously, mechanic. Just be a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Yeah, true.
pure. Man, sometimes mechanics can't even see what they're doing. You should see the way these guys get into cars. They can't even see what they're doing. They're just purely tactile. It's kind of cool. I would
Mm.
say it's one of the most tactile positions. But like know yourself and know parts of yourself, and that will help to know what you're good at. That will help you to find what you're good at too, and experience new things. That goes for everything. Try to experience and try new things. That helps with
Always.
everything in general.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And then the third question of the three is, what can you monetize? So this is specifically about money.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of jobs that you may like and be good at, but you can't really monetize them. And then that becomes a problem because, the issue is you need money at the end of the day. Um, and if you are doing the thing that you like and are good at, but you don't have any money, that's a problem. So,
Mhm. So you're the thing that you're good at. If it doesn't provide, so we say monetize, but the reality of the situation is like providing values to others. Sorry,
mm-hmm.
providing a value to others. So like this podcast, if we were a lot smarter and a lot more well articulated and a lot more experienced, maybe we can make money off this.
mm-hmm.
Right now, we know we can't. So we're not going to attempt to, right? And we're not going to, and that also means we're going to live a balanced life. So we don't put all our eggs in this basket. We do this once a week.
And now a break from our
And
sponsors. Not
yeah,
real.
not real. But we do this once a week because we know we can't make money off of it, at least right now. But it is something we enjoy doing, and there's no reason you shouldn't try to pursue things that you enjoy doing if there's potential value to come from it, or you just the value is inward, right? You just
Mm-hmm.
genuinely enjoy it, so you're willing to do it,
Yeah, with this,
right?
the value is inherent. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily value money wise, it's just value to us and to people. So I think it's just an inherently good thing.
yeah, and that's why the monetize word is so important because it's like monetization just means is what you're doing valuable enough to be paid for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of the time it's not, right? Like, who's going to pay you to exercise, right? It's
Nobody.
beneficial for you, it's beneficial for the people around you, but is someone going to pay you to do it? It's like, no, that's your own personal problem, right? Is someone going to pay you to read? Is someone going to pay you to write? Is someone going to pay you to build little models? Arguably, you have to pay for it, right? Those people who build models and like paint them and stuff. And
Yeah.
the skills you gain from that may be valuable because it allows you to work with finesse and be and deal with very fragile small pieces, which makes you more, uh, well versed in hand-eye coordination, right? Or video games. Someone's paying you to play video games unless you're so good at it. All these things are
Mm-hmm.
something where it's like you could be so good at them where you could get paid, but chances are you're not, right? Chances are you're good at working out, but are you really that good at working out to be like a bodybuilder? No. Are you good at playing video games, but good enough to be paid for it? No. You're good at
Mm-hmm.
reading. You're so good at reading that you're going to be paid for it to review books and stuff? Probably not, right? But you can enjoy doing all those things, and you should enjoy doing all those things. But that's part of lifestyle. That's not necessarily part of career. The career is specifically what can be monetized.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for these entrepreneurial people who are like, I'm good at three things, and I can't put them together right now, but I'll do this for this amount of time per day, this for this amount of time per day, and this for this amount of time per day, and I can monetize them enough where I can make a decent living and it's relatively stable, like that's good. That's a good way to look at it. Again, higher risk, do it when you're young. Um, don't be afraid to go to college. right? For a year. Don't be afraid to go to college for a year and get like a diploma or an apprenticeship, make money, and then go to university. Don't be afraid to do that.
Mm.
If that's what you want. Don't be afraid to just skip school altogether. If you're like, I have a great idea, I think it's a very good idea. I think I can make money off of it. I'm willing to put in the work. I'm going to do it. Don't be afraid to do any of that stuff, right?
Yeah. One thing I read about recently, I thought it was really interesting, and I want to implement this. Um, this guy was saying he doesn't have a college fund for his kids like you typically would. You put money aside so your kids can go to college when they're old enough
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. He said instead he has what he calls a business fund for his kids.
Interesting.
So he said when his son turns 18, he's going to take that money and he's going to have a neutral, just kind of like a group of his friends and family that are the son has to then pitch an idea to at the end, um, or not the end, but when he turns 18, he has to pitch an idea to them, kind of like, Shark Tank or Dragon's Den or whatever. And he may have the idea that he's going to go to college either way. It doesn't necessarily have to be a business, but the idea is he has to prove that it's a good idea before he
Yeah,
does it.
exactly.
And then he has access to that money. So I think just encouraging your kids to take a different path, like an entrepreneur path in the first place, is really good. Telling them that they don't necessarily have to do college, especially if they have a good idea and you just want them to do that. And then also the money not being directly tied to him
Mm-hmm.
is also another good idea. Is it partially, given by his colleagues so that it's actually, you know what I mean, used for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the creation of the business.
Again, it's the value. The point of the money was not the business itself. The point of it was it would be saved up so it could be put towards a value, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the value could have been my business idea is for me to go to university for this thing, get this
Mm-hmm.
degree, and then follow this niche market. And people are like, okay, that's a good idea. Now here's your money, right?
Yeah.
Or if it's not a great idea, you go, well, here's your money, stipends, whatever. I don't know, but like, hopefully you pay for your children's education. I think what good goal to have for your career is to say, I want to be able to afford a house. I want to be able to afford 2 to 3 children, and I want to be able to afford them going to college, university, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
at least pay for half of their college and university expenses. Um, and that means living within your means if it's like not as high paying of a job, but that's okay.
Yeah. Another thing I would just want to mention is if you're young and your parents are willing to pay for your college or university, you should just go
Yeah, you should.
because I don't think, unless you do something really stupid, but I don't think any of the listeners here would do something stupid like gender
No.
studies. Unless you do something dumb like that, no education is really bad in the long run if you take it seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for example, um, I did 2 years of engineering and dropped out, but
Mm-hmm.
what I learned from that, even though I didn't get any degree on paper, I went into a pre-apprenticeship program and I was the top marks. So what I learned already just kind of propelled me into greater success in the next thing that I chose to do. So it wasn't a waste, is my point. So
Yeah, no, not.
basically, it's not over if you drop out or something like that.
Yeah, everything can be used to your advantage, right? Everything can be used to your advantage, like no joke.
A
So
lot of
don't.
skills are transferable.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of skills are transferable, man. Especially learning skills. I think learning skills and habits are the most transferable thing, and
Mm-hmm.
you always build those up in kind of what you're doing. So, you know, I would say this one's probably not going to be the longest episode, and because it's relatively simple, I would say for a lot of people, it's very broad advice that you ended up kind of finding your own path. And um, oh, actually, let me add to if your parents have a very big, massive company, yeah, go to business school and just run the company. Don't be an idiot. Don't be like, I'm going to go do my own thing. It's like
Yeah.
why, dude?
Why?
Be
Because you saw
be
it in a
based.
movie where like This daughter didn't want to
God,
run her dad's business. I want to be an artist instead. That's
it's
gay.
like it's
Just do.
dumb. Just do, yeah, dude. Just you can do art on the side, and guess what? With all the
Yeah.
money you'll be making from your high class job, if you actually get really good at being a leader within a company, and you can delegate everything to people who are trustworthy, go do your art as a hobby. Go take your month long vacations to
We should do
Greece.
the hobbies episode next week. It'd be a good
Yeah, maybe we
sequel to
will
this.
actually. Yeah, talk about the and we'll compare worthwhile hobbies and what you should pick as a hobby and how you should get into them. But don't be silly. It take don't. I'm not saying
Don't
take the
be
easy way
silly.
out. Take the
Was it like
route
a
which is
couple
most.
episodes ago we said you need to be silly?
Yeah, be goofy and silly. But I'm saying when it comes to serious life issues and like trying to forge your own path when it's not necessary, don't do that. Be
Mm,
like water. Go with the flow. Like if your parents have this multi-billion-dollar company and they're saying we want to hand it over to you if you're willing to take it, just
mm-hmm.
take it. Even if you don't succeed fully as much as they did, you're probably gonna still make a shit ton of money, and then you can do whatever the hell you want, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, like that, and that's a stupid piece of advice. Chances are no one's gonna be in that situation. But like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just it's a tidbit for whoever's listening. But don't you know if there's a pathway that's already open, but it's kind of hard to get in, follow the path still. Don't try to forge a whole new path for no reason other than just to forge a new path. It's not
Mm,
worth it unless you have this amazing idea that's going to change the world, which chances are you don't, right?
no.
Because if you have this amazing idea that's going to change the world, you're not listening to my podcast. I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to be like Elon Musk. That guy probably listens to nothing but his own thoughts because he's like, I literally have gotten so far with my own um, genius and the mentors that I've chosen. Then like,
hmm
I don't need any other outside influence. I don't have time for it. So we don't have anyone listening like that. I don't think. No offense, guys. I'm not like that
No
either,
offense.
so no need to worry. Okay. But yeah, that's all. That's all I'll add. And picking a career path is not the end of the world. And don't forget, you can always change at some point in your
Always.
life. Always make a plan and be smart about it if you're going to. And that's it from me.
Yeah. So I'll just summarize our 3 questions here. What do you like? What are you good at? What can you monetize? Being honest and uh, truthful with yourself about these 3 things is, we believe, the key to picking a proper career path. And then, um, like you just said, in the end, you can always change. It's not the end of the world. Take your risks young. I think that sums it up pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Get going, move forward, aim high, plan a takeoff. Don't just sit on the runway and hope someone will come along and push the airplane. It simply won't happen. Change your attitude and gain some altitude. Believe me, you'll love it up here. Donald J. Trump.